Hi friends. Today's craft along is using the same supplies in two different ways to get two different looks. A Maullie and a Rosie, a vintage and a shabby chic. So grab some supplies and craft along with me today. Hi, it's Carrie with Created Me Creative and welcome to my cozy little corner. So today we are using paint chips. I have some brighter pinks and blues and some more muted pinks and blues. And I think because I've already done two blues, we're going to go with two pinks. So let's go here and here. This will be Rosie. This will be Maullie. And I'm just going to set those right there. And we will start with Maullie because Maullie usually comes first. I believe she's the older sister. So we are going to start with Maullie. The back, because we want it to be a journal card, we're going to cover it. I have some coffee stained paper here, and I think that will fit perfectly right there. We're just going to glue that on to start, and that way we have a writing space. So I hope you're all doing well. I'm nearing the end, nearing the time crunch here before I take off for my son's wedding. But I wanted to get one more craft along in before I leave. And then I'm going to do the final touches on Maullie and Rosie. And hopefully I will be able to share them with you before I get on the plane. Let's just smooth that down around the edges. There we go, and we will cut that out. I do have scissors here somewhere. So yeah, Maullie and Rosie are pretty much done now. They just need a few little details to be able to tuck into their pockets, and that's why we're doing this today. And I just wanted to show you quickly how you can make something fairly easy with supplies you may already have in your craft room. You can back these paint chips with any paper. It doesn't have to be this one's like the coffee stain that I had done with the plastic tablecloth. And you don't have to use that. You could use just plain paper, maybe a scrapbook paper, whatever you have that's going to give you a nice place to be able to write. And I am just going to make sure that this is down on all the edges. Oh, a little bit right there. There we go. Now put my pin back in. On this one that I made, I distressed the edges. I have one of those Tim Holtz page edge distressors, but you don't have to use that. You could use the edge of scissors. Just open them up and be a little careful and kind of scrape around. You don't have to have the fancy tools. The scissors work. And we're just trying to give it a little bit more of an aged look, time-worn, just as Maullie is. And that just gives you that little bit of a rough edge. And then I will go around her in vintage photo. There is a neighbor mowing the lawn today. It's bright and sunny, a little chill in the air, but the sun is beautifully warm today. And it is so nice to finally see spring. We've had some weird weather over the last week or so, and it's kind of crazy. Okay, so there is our base for Maullie. So let's move over to Rosie and we'll build her at the same time. So for Rosie, clean up here. Rosie, we're not going to cover her back. We could use the pink paper that we used. I have a piece here within her journal. We could cover it with that. But I actually love the texture of the paint chip. And so I have my sanding block and we're just going to, I'm going to put this on a book so it makes less mess. We're just going to use our sanding block. And I'm probably going to shake you a little bit, so I may speed through this once I get started. See how it cleans it up? And there she is. Nice clean back, just with a little sanding block. And now we've got her ready to be able to journal on. So Rosie, we are going to ink in pink. And that preps her for the next step. So I have this beautiful, this is my go-to stencil. I absolutely love this one. It is from Tim Holtz, and it has a number on the bottom if you're interested. It's THS032, and it's just the most gorgeous scallop kind of paisley detail. And so we will start with Maullie again. And oh, you know what? Let's get a layer of paper down first. It gives it a better base. So let's grab, I have this beautiful vintage maybe we'll go this way. I want a flat edge at the bottom. Actually, you know what? I don't think that piece is going to be big enough. Let's use this one. And let's take the bottom off. And we will do just kind of a torn edge. We'll do her the opposite way as this one. And I'm just going to ink around the edges just a smidge. Doesn't really need it. It's so vintagey already. And we will use glue stick for this. Come on, lift up. And we'll pop that on there. I just want to cover up that. There we go. Bring it over so it's not right at the edge. I think that will do it. Yeah, there we go. And then for Rosie, we'll use this one. I don't want the white edge. There we go. And we'll come down this way. And we will do pink. These come together so quickly, and I'm not using crazy supplies. I do have some texture paste. I did make my texture paste from scratch, and it's just cornstarch, white glue, white paint, and a little bit of water. And I start with equal parts. At least I did today. And I move from there. I think the recipe that is 3 parts cornstarch to 1 part white glue, 1 part white paint. And you could use a colored paint. That certainly would be nice. I opted for white today just because then I can use it on other projects. If I was just doing Rosie, I probably would do pink. Or even that soft tealy turquoise color. But today we're using white. So there is our base for our next step. Let me get the glue out of the way. And I don't know if you can tell, but we're going to use our stencil. So for Maullie, we are going to use our ink. And we are just going to use the stencil like it's typically used. I'm going to use the Vintage Photo. And I'm going to go a little deeper in color on the paper and then a little bit lighter up in the color of the paint chip. Let's see what we've got. Ooh, that's so pretty. See if I can get that back in the right spot now. Because I think I just want to deepen it up just a smidge more on the pink. Make sure I lined it back up. Just a little bit deeper. There we go. Now she can be seen. I love that. So before we use the same stencil with the texture paste, I need to clean it. Okay, we have got a nice clean stencil, and we are going to place it on to Rosie. And we are going to grab the texture paste. It's nice consistency. It's almost like consistency of like icing for a cake. And oh, it's getting a little crusty. I've been playing this morning, so let me get the crusty bits out of the way. And we'll just put some on the back of my little spatula here. Now the trick to this is making sure that you hold it tightly to your piece that you're texture pasting, stenciling with it. And then you just smooth it out. Now this one, it has one piece that likes to fly up, and sometimes it will kind of screw up the pattern. So we just got to go nice and slow. Now I'm going to scrape the extra off, nice and gentle. So we don't want it too thick. And we're going to hope that that one spot that keeps lifting, it's just because it's such a delicate piece. And I use, like I said, I use this stencil all the time. So it is well loved. All right. Not too thick, not too thin. I think that will do it. Cross your fingers. There she is. Let me get a close-up for you on that. So pretty. And there is Maullie's. Same stencil, just a different technique on the same base. So I am going to wipe this mess up, clean my stencil and dry this, and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so we're all dried up. Now, if you don't have texture paste, you can still do the two different styles. I would use the pink ink or a colored ink that's not the vintage color to do this one here. So maybe we'll do one like that after we're done these ones. And okay, so the next step I did on these two, I have this kind of cool, it's almost like an onion skin. I'm not sure if it is, but it's kind of like that. So I'm just going to get rid of that piece. We'll even it out over here. And all I did for this one was I took a little bit of glue stick and I ran, let's see, where do I want it? I guess we could do it kind of in the same area. We'll just mirror this one. And I just put a little bit there, and then all I did was kind of squinch up the paper. If you watched our last video with Maullie and Rosie and the page edges, I kind of did the same technique with fabric in Maullie as well. So we're mimicking that. I just want to move it around a bit until I like the placement. And then on Rosie, what I did, instead of squinching, is what I call it, I took a strip of the pink paper and all I did was fold it like a little paper ruffle. Back and forth, just like an accordion style. And it kind of naturally forms like a semicircle, like that. And it's just back and forth folding. And then I grab my glue to help it stay, and I just put a little glue between each fold, just near the center. I leave the outside edge so that it will give a little bit of volume. And I'm just going to run my pink ink down the edge just to give it some definition so it stands out from the texture paste. I flip it over. Actually, I kind of like this side better. So we're going to give it a little bit of glue here too. Just on the smaller edge, the more narrow. And then we will put glue all on this edge here, but not on the edge that we inked. And that will just give it a little bit of a kind of a fluff. Push that down into place. And I missed one section with ink, so I'm just going to go in with my ink again. And there's our two little extra paper details. Now, I think I've got a couple of flowers and a couple of little paper dolls. So we will audition. I've got this little cutie holding a basket of flowers. So she's dark. She's got that same darkened color that this one does here. But then I found this one that's in white, and oh my goodness, look how cute she is. She's dropped her flowers. She's barely holding on. She's got a little pouty face on. She's so cute. And I almost think she gets lost. I wonder if she'd work on Rosie. Maybe if we ink her in pink. Yeah, The darker one is better here. So I'm just gonna throw some ink around to get rid of that white edge. Get some glue on her. Doo-doo. I can't believe that Maullie and Rosie are almost complete. Oh, look how darling she is. Now, I wonder if we ink her in pink. So that's too big. Let's do it. Just give her a nice edge of pink so she doesn't fade into the background with the white texture paste. Now her bow looks pink. So cute. Oh, she is darling. Yeah, she's darling. All right, let's glue her down too. I just love her little pouty face. And we will get her on there. And then we just need to figure out whether or not we want to cover the words. See, now, I almost don't want to on this one because the paint chip color is Radiant Rose. And I may just leave that showing because this is for Rosie. And I'm just going to lift this up a bit and add some more pink ink on this side. There we go. That's better. Oh, she's cute. So cute. Okay, now this one I think we will cover, and I have this. I used it on this one as well. It's from Amity Bloom. And I think we will just, I'm not even going to go all the way across. I'm just going to go halfway, like that, on this one. And I will cut that edge. There we go. I think my sponge is falling apart. And then I think on this one, now here I used the Inspiration fabric, and I used the piece that's got a little bit more of the yellow flower and then the pink flower for Rosie. I think this one we are going to add, what are we gonna add? Maybe lace. Let me get my punch, and we will do a punch on this one. Just have to figure out about where center is. Right. That looks pretty good. And we'll do the same on little Rosie here. Perfect. Oh, I lost an edge. There we go. Perfect. Love that. I am going to bring that down a smidge so that this other side can, oh, well, that wasn't very good, was it? Now we will have to come up with an idea here. I am going to washi tape that back together. Don't move. Where to put it? There it is. And we will go right across there. And I'm going to add a little bit of glue, or a lot of bit of glue by the looks of that. And get that back into place. All right. And my punch right where the washi is. And I don't think we're going to put anything there now. I think we're just going to let that hole be its own decoration because I don't want to risk breaking it again. There she is. She looks pretty. You know what we might do though? What if we put this lace down the edge as a little extra detail? That edge or that edge. There. That's a pretty little detail. I like that. Okay. And maybe on Rosie's, we'll just add a little bit of this trim. And see, my edge is still loose, so this will be easy to scoot in underneath. And we will trim it right there. Oh, that's super cute. There's Rosie's. That is 2 for each of them. So we've got Maullie in pink and Maullie in blue. We've got Rosie in pink and Rosie in blue. Okay. Well, I've got 4 more paint chips that would work. Okay, I went back into my stash and I grabbed a couple of the taller ones so that we can have some tall tags instead of just these 2 little short ones. And I have picked a pink for Rosie and a blue for Maullie. So we are going to cover the backs of these, and I'm going to do the pink on the back of Rosie. And I'm going to do tea stained on the back of Maullie. Alrighty. So this one here, instead of using the texture paste, I am going to use the pink ink. And that's why it shows the pink. Get that piece of paper out of my way. That's why I chose the pink paint chip. So that it will show. When I finish here, I want to do one more video before I take off. And for sure one more. I'm going to try and actually do a couple more. But like I said, I am running out of time. But I would like to show you the finished girls Rosie, Maulie's covers are now done. That's why I'm not showing them to you on camera right now. They're a surprise for the next video. And then if I have a chance tomorrow, I want to film our mixed media, although today we did mixed media, but our mixed media for Little Grace with our quote. And if I don't get to that, I'm going to apologize now. That would be next Saturday's video. And so that's the Saturday I'm actually away for my son's wedding. So I do apologize if I don't get that done. I'm going to try. I really am going to try. So, all right. So that is the base of Rosie. Let's get the base of Maullie down now. Look from the other side and make sure we've... The problem with when you dye the paper, it kind of misshapes it sometimes. So your straight edge gets a little warped. But I think we managed to get that nice dark edge on there, so... And we'll cut around this one. I think after we do our layers, I may stamp an image on this time instead of one of these here. I may just stamp an image on. All right, let's get some ink around the edge of that. Okay, so what are we going to layer with? I think we're going to use some of this coffee paper. The stencil won't show if I do. Oh, I could do the lighter side. Nah, that might be too busy. Maybe what we'll do is we'll just collage and then stamp. I'm going to tear this beautiful paper. And we will run that right there. And then maybe we will get some dictionary page and do that. Let's break that there like that. Move over there, Rosie. Maybe we'll do that. And then what can we do down the middle? And I know all the colors are the same, but we're going to ink around them to give them a little bit of difference. And I think I'm going to take this off at the end a little bit. Just so we have 3 different lengths. Like that. Yeah, that's going to be nice. And I think I'm going to use my Potter Soil archival ink for it. And maybe what we'll do is we'll do the stencil as a background, just to give it a little bit more depth. And I'm not giving it the same weight in all the spots. I'm covering them all, but I'm going a little bit heavier in some spots and lighter in others. Mary from I Love to Journal gave me the tip to use a soft surface underneath when you're stamping because it gives a better impression. So I'm going to use this book We're going to put that right in the center. That's really pretty. Can you see that? All nice and neutral. And then I think this corner needs just a little bit of something, so I'm just going to use the edge of this text. Perfect. So pretty. Yep, that turned out perfect. All right, let's clean up and do Rosie. All right. And we're going to do the same thing for Rosie, except we're going to use the pink ink. Yeah, that's not bad. So pretty. All right. Now, let's follow the same principle that we just did with Maullie. And we will do a, I need a paper. I know I have a dictionary page. I have to, this tiny piece right here, that will work. And I have music paper. So there's that. I have some music paper right here. All right, and then I think, because we didn't use a tea stain or a coffee stain in Rosie, I think for her, I'm going to use doily as the layer for here. I think that is a good start. And then we will just layer our, I am losing all of my, I think I'm going to flip this the other way because I have a lot more color in the damask, and we'll do that. And we'll do that. Let's give it a little dusting of pink. There we go. I wonder if I like that better. And maybe just shorten the music up instead of being longer. It's shorter, and that way more of this rose shows. Let's do that. All right, I'm going to practice in pink on my book here and see if it works. And if not, I don't know if that's going to show. I think, call me crazy, but I think we're going to use jet black. There's black in the text. There's black in the notes. I think, and I may actually do the text in black as well. Let me just see. I like it. Let's do that. Oh, look how pretty. That's so cute. All right. And we need a topper for her. And then we are done. There we go. All right, let me clean up my desk and then we will go through what we have made. Well, I am all cleaned up and here is what we have done. We have got Maullie and Rosie, Maullie and Rosie, Maullie and Rosie. Super easy, quick-ish journal cards, tags. I guess when they have a topper on them, they're a tag. And they all have space for writing. They all turned out really pretty. That one we used the stamps, the music, and the dictionary page. And then this one here, we use the dictionary with the stencil. And then this one I had done off camera, and again, it was the dictionary and the stencil. And we put a little fabric topper on that one. This one, we remedied a boo-boo. And then this one, we just put a fabric tab on the top. Well, I hope you had a chance to craft along with me. And that will be it for today. I am going to finish up with Maullie and Rosie and try and get that final video done. And then, yeah, they'll be ready. They'll be ready for their forever home. So anyway, that will be it for today. Blessings, take care, and we will chat soon. Bye-bye.